Welcome to this restorative session of using just blankets. So I have grabbed 2 blankets here and I'm getting them folded up nicely. But you could do this practice with just 1 blanket if that's all you had. My recommendation, if that were the case, grab as bulky a blanket as you can. And then once you have all the blankets that you'd like here, roll one up and place it in the middle of the mat. Grab some water or tea, and make sure that you're in some nice comfy clothing. And beginning our practice today, coming onto your bum, coming into a restorative bridge. Coming onto the back, the blanket rolled nice and tight underneath our lower backs, feet planted on the earth, arms stretched out to the side. And perhaps you'd like to play around with feet going wide as the mat, knees resting on each other. Perhaps inching toes towards the edge of the mat. Just exploring what might feel good for the legs here. And allowing your attention to come to your breath. Gently inhaling and exhaling as you observe the support from the earth and the blanket here. allowing your breath to lengthen as we gently begin to move our body, maybe inhaling our arms above our head as we rise up into bridge, and then exhale, drawing hands down as our hips come back to the blanket. Inhaling, drawing arms above our head, raising our hips towards the ceiling. Maybe a nice big overhead stretch here. And slowly and gently removing the blanket, pushing yourself up to a seated position. And taking that blanket to get yourself ready for a supported child's pose. And so you have a couple options, taking that big bulky blanket and using it to go in between the legs and supporting the chest and head. If you find that there's some tightness in the lower back, another option with the blanket is to take it and rest it in between the sits bones and heels, providing space. And then dropping your head to the floor. If you have a second blanket here, maybe even underneath the head could be nice, sort of like a pillow. Taking time to find whatever variation or sensation feels good in your body here. As you allow your breath to lengthen, noticing any sensations that come up in the body. And perhaps your exhales are longer than normal, drawn out. And then allowing your breath to come to a natural rhythm. And one of the benefits, of course, of at-home restorative practice is to take time to cuddle with a fur baby, if you've got one close by. Allowing your breath to elongate here, drawing in deep inhales, and taking some extra time to lengthen out the exhale. When you're ready, taking the hands, placing them on the floor, and gently pushing yourself up to a seat, maybe engaging in some seated cat-cow if it feels good on the spine. And then if you have the blanket resting on top of your heels, removing that and bringing it back to the front of your body and getting ready for an option here of pigeon. So using that rolled up blanket to support that hip. You can also have it going across the mat. Or if pigeon is too intense for you in a restorative practice, coming onto your back, using that blanket to give you a little bit of a heart opener, maybe placing it in the middle of the back and then crossing the right heel onto the left thigh into a reclined figure 4. Taking time to explore what variation you'd like here. Pigeon or reclined figure 4. And taking time to settle in to the support of your props. Knowing that you can always readjust if you find that any of this sensation is too intense. Slowly bringing your attention back to the space, back to the supports, and slowly engaging in a little bit of movement to release that right leg, whether you're in a reclined figure 4 or a pigeon, maybe giving it a little shake out before switching sides. And again, feeling free to repeat the same on the opposite side, or perhaps try something a little bit different if you know that may suit you here. Roll up that blanket and place it underneath that left hip to give you support here. Alternatively, it can go parallel to the mat, going across the mat. You can also go into a reclined figure 4 on the opposite side. Reminding you that what you did on one side, you don't necessarily have to do on the other. As long as the shape is similar. And taking time as we breathe and begin to settle in to acknowledge any of the sensations that we feel and to give in to the support here. Allowing yourself to gently engage into some movement here to kindly release from this pose. Maybe gently pushing yourself up, maybe giving a wiggle of that hip, little shake out. Whatever tiny movements may feel good here. And taking that blanket and positioning it towards the edge of a mat that's closest to a wall. And placing your feet up against that wall, arms wide, blanket resting underneath the small of your back. And playing around with legs up the wall, because you do have a few options here as well. You can play around with the distance of your hips to the wall. You can be a foot and a half away, or you can be right up against it. Knees can be bent or straight. And taking time to find what feels good. And allow yourself to feel supported here. Allowing your breath to come to a natural rhythm. Gently bringing your attention back to your breath if you find that your mind has wandered. And gently engage into some movements here to release yourself from this pose. Maybe a stretch, drawing knees to chest. Whenever you need to gently release yourself from this pose and then get ready for our final pose, Shavasana. And if you have a favorite variation of Shavasana, please go there now. Otherwise, try taking that blanket, unfolding it just a bit, and placing it over your hips. Allowing yourself to feel heavy. Allowing your breath to come to what feels like a natural rhythm. And knowing that you can stay in Shavasana for as long as you need here. And with that, I'd like to thank you dearly for joining me today. And whether you're participating in this practice at the beginning of your day or at the end of your day, I hope that you find peace and gratitude.